Hi folks, my name is Kushal Bhagia and I am a venture capitalist and the CEO of First Check. Welcome to Know Your Term Sheet. This is going to be a series of videos where I explain the most common terms and clauses in a typical venture term sheet and other most commonly used startup jargon which first time entrepreneurs have a lot of problems understanding. Today we are going to discuss another standard term in most term sheets, that is the preemptive investment right to maintain shareholding. Okay, big words. Let me break this down for you. Let's take an example. Today, if you raise say 2 crore rupees from investor A for say 20% of your company or 10 crore post money valuation, the company grows well, it ships its product, gets customers, starts scaling, things are going as per plan. After a year, it now raises money again at a far higher valuation of say 100 crore rupees. So you raise at 10 crore first and now you are at 100 crore valuation. Now let's say investor B is now giving you 20 crore rupees on a 100 crore valuation, taking again 20% of your company, right? So what would happen to investor A who took 20% in the last round? They earlier had 20% of the company, but now with this new round, they will also get diluted by 20%, right? Because the company is issuing new shares and that will dilute everybody who's on the cap table, the founders and investor A. This means that their ownership will now drop from 20% by 20% more to 16%, right? So the preemptive investment right basically gives this investor A the right to invest more money in the company in subsequent investment rounds such that they can maintain their ownership percentage in the company. In our example, investor A will hence invest 4 crore rupees more to maintain their ownership at 20%, which means that the overall round will now be 24 crores at 100 crores instead of 20 crores at 100 crores. Now, is this a fair right? Well, VCs have ownership targets like I explained earlier. If they run a $200 million fund, they want to be owning at least 20% of a company that becomes worth $1 billion so that they can return the fund at that stage. VCs also want to have the option of putting more money in their winners. That is, as a fund manager, if I make 20 bets and 5-10 of them start raising bigger and higher rounds, I want to have the right to deploy more money in those companies that are clearly working. This is the iron law of venture capital. Double down on your winners. Every VC knows this. And you as a founder, you also want the signaling, right? You want your existing investors to back you again and again because that signals to incoming new investors that yes, this company is indeed doing very well, and hence existing investors who have spent way more time with this founder than I have, they are also putting in more money. So that's a good sign for me, right? On the other hand, this right effectively means that any new round of funding that happens will only dilute the founders and the employees and not the existing shareholders or existing investors in the company, because they can always put more money in new rounds, right? Of course, they're investing at higher valuations and they're investing more and more bigger and bigger check sizes, but they are still maintaining their ownership in the company. And the company also is getting more of this money at a higher price. So it's kind of a mixed bag. In practice, what happens is that once you get interest from investor B, you will go back to investor A and tell them that the round is happening and ask them if they want to exercise their preemptive right to invest. If they say yes, then you will go back to investor B and say, hey, instead of 20 crores, can you put in 16 crores because 4 crores more my existing investor also wants to put in. And so you will instead end up doing a 20 crore round again with 16 crores coming in from the new investor and 4 crore coming in from your existing investor, so that you don't have to do 24 crores and dilute yourself by 24%. You can stick to 20 crores and dilute by only 20%. Once in a while, investor A might decide not to exercise the pro rata right, but then that too sends a bad signal to investor B that maybe something is wrong with the company if investor A is not exercising their pro rata. This is not an iron rule, but it does happen. These are mostly negotiations. Again, there's no, even though the investor A has a right to put in more money, it doesn't mean that they will always exercise it. You as a founder can go to request them that, look, if I give you 20%, I let you be at 20%, this new guy also wants 20%, that means I'll dilute 40%, right? Instead, if you take this dilution with me, you will go to 16%, which is still not that bad, and the new guy will get 20%. So overall, I'm at 36%. So if you do push your existing investors, there's a chance you might get away with it, and they might agree to not maintain the shareholding in the company. So it's going to be hard, because usually if the company is doing well and you're growing and exploding in size, the existing investors will want to make sure that they own enough of the company, right? So they will in all likelihood decide to exercise their pro rata right. In India, and as far as I know, even in the US, this is a fairly standard right. So there's no point trying to push back on this unless you're a super hot deal and you have 3-4 funds chasing you to give money. But even then, I would say the guy who wins the deal and gives you the check will definitely put in this right. On preemptive rights, there is one term which I advise founders to be aware of, which is a super pro rata right. Okay, so what does this mean? This means that if investor A earlier owned 20% in our example, they take a right to increase their shareholding to 25% in a future round. Okay, so in this scenario, this means once investor B offers you 20 crores at 100 crore valuation, investor A can say, cool, I'll not only put in 4 crores to maintain my shareholding, but I'll put in 5 crore more to take it to 25% instead of 20% shareholding in the company, right? So I was earlier at 20% shareholding in this company, but because it's now doing well, I will increase my shareholding to 25%. So this can be dangerous, as suddenly now instead of 20% that you give to investor B, investor A also went up from 20% to 25%, leaving you with a 45% total dilution. It's also something of a half commitment from investor A, right? Because if they are so bullish on the company, then shouldn't they invest 2.5 crores in the first round instead of 2 crores that they originally gave? They're locking up equity at a future in the future rounds, right? Without actually forking up money or forking up the cash today. So it is kind of unfair to the founder. So I would say in some cases, if the investor is taking say only a 10-15% ownership in the first round because you're not letting them invest more money, then it may be fine to give them this right. Say, okay, you can put maybe 5% more in the next round. But by and large, I would try and stay away from a super pro rata, right? Because you're signing away equity at a future date when you don't know what the circumstances will be at that date, right? So there's just no reason to do that today. So this is a super pro rata right which you should push back on, but a normal pro rata right, preemptive right, whatever you want to call it, that's totally fine. And you better hope that your investors exercise it so that incoming investors also get some comfort that yes, this company is doing well, and existing investors want to back it again and again, so things are in order, right? So that's it for today, folks. Please leave your comments below, and yeah, looking forward to hear from a lot of you. Thank you.